Asmongold reacts to the rising
I've
hate
been
towards India.
monitoring the Indian hate web.
I think that there are a lot of people that don't like Indians and they think that India is gross and they don't like the country.
Whoa, we're starting off strong, huh?
I think there's a huge amount of people that are like that.
I also agree with him. I think there's a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people, especially down here in the south of America, where I bring up India and some of the beautiful things that I've learned about it. And then they talk about the caste system and certain things that, you would hear back what happened. Like, they think it's almost like Genghis Khan is still like invading India or like all around the borders of India. They're like, oh, he's going to go in there. He's going to get you.
But that's the same with people with any country. I mean, there's no country in the world that there aren't a bunch of negative stereotypes that people would talk about.
This is also true. You could look at America, but America being ignorant. You can go look at German and what they've done in their past. I mean, holy. And then if you look at a Chinese kid over here in America, you either think he knows kung fu or he gets like straight A student since he was born.
It's just how it is.
Sites for a while.
It's just how it is.
It's actually set to my homepage. I've been checking these websites out. I watch what these people do.
Yeah.
There were very few overt Indian haters spewing their nonsensical filth everywhere 72 hours ago. What?
And one of the Indian stereotypes, if you get called as a scammer, I got to ask one of you guys to see if it's one of your cousins and say, hey, get off my back.
What happened?
Why are you guys scamming everybody?
72 hours ago.
I'm not sure if I would agree with that. I think that there's been a massive uptick in Indian negativity. And I think it's been happening in the last 6 months to a year or so. Am I crazy? Because
I don't think he's crazy, and I think directly the Indian hate is coming from people seeing the Indian success here in America with running with running so many companies, being the CEO, now being in positions of government, high levels of positions of government, and like Kash Patel, Vivek Ramaswamy, who are garnering large fan bases of just being absolute badasses and people you don't want to fuck with. So to me, whenever you see a large group of people automatically getting hated, haters stand for having anger towards everyone reaching success. So if you're reaching for success, you're striving, you're doing the damn thing, people are hating on you, you're probably doing something right.
So I feel like it's been happening a lot. Now, this dialed it up to 11. Definitely that's true. But, like, I remember Mudahar talked about it, and then after Apu, well, I'm not sure about that. For the past year, yeah, I think there's been a lot of it.
Yeah,
but Barry Stanton, remember him? Oh, there it is. It bled over from Canada.
Jews are next.
I don't, yeah, apparently, right? But that's it. It's because of crypto.
Well, in Canada too, I feel like there was a large group of there's been a large immigration of Indians that have been going to Canada, and people just don't like that immigration. Just like in the early 1990s and even earlier in American history, we had like Hispanics and African Americans coming in. People weren't happy with them, but eventually they realized, maybe we should. It was a little kind of extreme, no?
Culture has tons of memes about Indian employees. Yeah, right.
The highest income household in the USA. That's exactly why people hate on them, because they're the highest Indian household, the highest income household are Indians in the U.S. That's why most people don't like them. Is they're taking all the money they think in these high level positions, and they're gonna worry about nepotism, about how there's only gonna be like Indian people now not only in CEO level positions, but regional, and just eventually just get them out. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but that's just the fear of somebody.
Photos of like people saying, "Oh, open up Google
Even the
Maps.
Italians are outside.
Exactly. You can see
Exactly.
garbage in it, right? Like this has been going on for longer than 3 days. It's been going on for a while. And this is coming from somebody I'd like to go to India, right? Like I think India is cool, right? I mean, but sure.
I think next 10 to 20 years, India is going to be insane.
You're going to have bad things to say about anywhere. It's true though. You should try it.
Most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of admiration, or hey, that guy says cool stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what? I think I like
people
that
like
guy.
him. Yeah.
Now he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the color of his skin. He's being deported for the content of his character. And I think that
What?
I think that there is a lot of authentic, genuine racial anxiety that exists inside of like the Trump base. And I feel like it's almost like a Like it's like an elephant in the room that nobody's willing to address.
This is true. In the MAGA camp and the Trump camp, especially this time around, it's not just people who love and adore Trump. Because he's working with Vivek Ramaswamy, with Tulsi Gabbard, with Elon Musk, with RFK, Kash Patel, with all of these different people. You have people who are fans of those people who are now going on board with Trump, but then you have those kind of crazy radical people who are just borderline, if not just full blown racist bigots who are also pro Trump because they like the man. They want to see the man, stick it to him. And we're having to look over and share the same party lines and be like, okay, we need to talk because you acting out.
But I do think that it exists. And I think that if Vivek was
This
the
is
same
true.
type of person and he was just your generic everyday white guy, I think he probably would have gotten better poll numbers.
He probably would have.
So I do think it's a factor. I absolutely do. But it's not the only factor. Vivek's American?
It doesn't matter that he's American. I know this is going to sound crazy, but there's going to be people in Kansas and Oklahoma and Nebraska, Utah that look at him and they don't think he's American. They look at him and they think, nah, he might have born here, but his parents are over there and they're bringing their cultural shenanigans over here. We don't want none of that. That's why middle America is, it might as well be a third world country sometimes. Exactly.
I
exactly.
agree with you. I'm not arguing for racism. I'm arguing that people are racist.
And he's a Hindu too? Yeah.
Like, that's the point.
Well, no, I think he's pretty outspoken Christian.
That I'm making. It's two separate things. You don't need to convince me of this. We're discussing a type of thinking. I'm not arguing a point of view.
Truly was a mask off moment where we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back.
Here's the thing. I actually think Vivek was right about everything he said.
Yeah, and you're not going to catch him slipping. The dude is buttoned down and knows his shit.
I think he was totally right. But the difference is that when you criticize a culture that people perceive you not being a part of, everybody gets super defensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's like why, for example, it's okay to make racial jokes about the group that you're a part of.
Totally. I can make a joke about Hispanics because my last name is Rodriguez. But if somebody else is making jokes about Hispanics, you're looking at them like, what?
But when people make racial jokes about a group that they're not part of, it's seen as problematic.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a implicit understanding.
Yeah, it's like unspoken rules of baseball. You just don't do it because it's when the same party does it, it brings the tension down. But when the other side does it, it just makes it problematic.
Who would say anything about culture?
It's different. I think it's everybody spurgs out. I'm spurging out right now. I'm going to spurg out later. Okay, on Chris Lynch.
This guy.
And also, Indians do cool stuff every once in a while. They got the chest slapping wrestling. You guys watch that action movies?
Just anime, just with American actors, or not American actors, with real people. Why'd I say that? The Bollywood movies are just anime with real people.
Here with a gun, he's flipping over the tuck Indian clubs, shoulder rehab exercise, fantastic. The hate. It's irrational hate.
Are these Bollywood movies? I feel like they basically just take anime and they just have real people do it.
What? That's what I said.
I mean, it's like if people were in... it's crazy. It's basically... Bollywood's like anime. Yeah, it's anime with real people.
It's just...
He said the thing.
Just racism. It's just a nonsensical racism. The hate and racism and anti-Indian sentiment.
Bro, those movies aren't like that, actually. Bro, they're exactly like that. I might as well just watch anime. It's just IRL. We found you, bro. Yeah, apparently we're thinking that we may not say things the same, but I think we're kind of on the same wavelength.
It's there to the extent that Indians are being used to replace white people.
He's right.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this is fair. Indians, and I will say this over here just so you can understand too. I don't think Indians are coming over here to replace white people. I think they're coming over here for the search of a better life and to really embrace the true uniqueness that is the First and Second Amendment, the right to free speech and the right to bear arms to protect yourself. It's a beautiful thing.
We have to stop playing pretend.
That's exactly it.
If whites don't like something, they George Field it. No, I think if whites don't like something, the uneducated. I don't think it's just white. I think doing stupid bigotry stuff out of being uneducated isn't just a white thing. I think that comes with every culture everywhere. I think a lack of education, a lack of empathy, a lack of love really does fuck up the human soul, the human heart, and the human mind.
Talking about
racism is everywhere. Absolutely. I think you find racism in the void of love, empathy, and education.
That's why this is sort of spreading like wildfire.
Mostly in Asian countries. Exactly.
People sharing these H-1B lists of what the jobs are. You are not in Calcutta scouting for the next Indian Einstein. You're not. We have to make it to outer space and invent new computers. Let's get to India and get the next Nikola Tesla.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
not what's happening. We're talking about people at fucking gas stations. You bring them over, you put them in a fucking gas station, and then we'll go around all the gas stations in the USA and find the next genius. Well, what if he's not in India? What if he's working at a gas station in North Carolina? He might be there.
I've seen this before
we don't know.
too.
No, it's actually in Georgia. All the gas stations are owned by Indians, but I love them all. I got Bobby. I got legitimately Bobby right across the street, my man.
Like what he's referring to,
but I don't think Bobby's a super genius. I just think he's really into cricket.
Is there were a lot of people that, like, after the H-1B visa like controversy happened, a lot of people started linking like pictures of people that either had the visas or people
Indians
that were like looking
yeah.
to have the positions filled by people with the visas. And
on average, Indians are the highest income earners in America for sure.
A lot of the positions,
but that's just outliers. The statistically not the outliers, but like, I don't know. I don't like looking at it like that.
Jobs, and they weren't like, you know, high-end systems data analysis at like Meta. So that's what
I think culturally, you guys just have a different priority on education
and then we can look for
than we do.
Yeah.
That's actually a fucking genius idea. We bring fucking everybody here, and then, like a needle in a haystack, we find the one man who can invent electrical computer.
Oh.
I don't think that's the case. I think the idea is if you have a civilized society, why not take over the surrounding places around you that are uncivilized and then get them to assimilate and become civilized. Now, how well that worked out with the Native Americans and throughout history, not too much. But it seems like that's kind of the line of thinking the government's going towards, and I don't know if I stand with it.
That sounds fucking retarded, and it's not true. You have to at least say that the H-1B program is being scammed. If you don't admit that, then as far as
it is being scammed, it's being manipulated.
That goes anywhere is concerned, it's over.
I think this is, at least in America, I think this is the proof of the pudding of like, we don't need to take away immigration, or we just need a full education or immigration reform, because the way people can get in here and get visas, it can be gamed, it can be scammed, and it obviously has been.
Over.
He's right. He's completely right. You can't tell people that you have a program that's for exceptional people, and then people find job listings for being a cashier.
True. This is what I'm talking about. Like, the whole program needs to have a complete reform. And I know personally of stories, at least from South American stories, of people who are Spanish, who are trying to come in here and get a visa, and they meet with their visa agent. And they're just a bad day, and they just denied them. It's like, man, they've done everything that they needed to do, and still are denied. That's a problem.
You just can't do, like...
I'm not saying that it should be easy. It should be hard to get into this great country. You only want the best of the best here. But it can be gamed, and it's obviously, it's not working as intended.
That whether you agree with it or not.
If it was a game, it's definitely not a feature. It's kind of a bug, and we need the devs to kind of work and patch out that bug.
It's just not going to sell. Like it or not, he's saying what people won't because of fear of cancellation. Yeah, I mean, I've said this myself. I mean, you know, I try to be the same, right? And
I don't think I genuinely think the hate on online for Indians. I think a lot of online hate just in general. It even though it seems loud and comes at you with like a large vibration, it's really not that much. It's really like 10-20% of the people who are just going to be losers, and they're just going to be screaming and yelling over anything and everything, right? So that's just 20%. The 80% of other people really don't kind of give a shit, and they'd rather have a conversation with you one-on-one and just base you off your merits. Are you a good person? Do you give back to society? Are you patient? Do you show love? Do you employ empathy to the people around you and to like understanding for people across the world? Like, that's what people look at. That's how we kind of look at each other now. My uncle was dimmed 3 times for his visa with a work permit. Yeah, it doesn't make sense on sometimes you can get it and sometimes if you're picking up what I'm putting down, then please like the video, subscribe, and if you really like it, then share it with some of your friends. My goal here is to spread a positive message while sprinkling my 2 cents on big topics like American Indian and world geopolitics, and even small stuff like Twitch drama and online debacles. And if you want to see it live, come join me over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/ActuallyElrod. That's where I'm going to do all my reactions, and after the reactions, that's where we get down a game. And if you're like, hey, I have a video that I want this dude to sprinkle his 2 cents on, then come over on my Discord and let me know and join the community there. And while we're at it, I have to say thank you to everybody who has made that Discord just so poppin'. I never thought I'd have a Discord that's so flowing. It's really cool to see. Shout out to you, Bobby, Omni, Demon, all of you who have been in there who are just super active. Logie, you're the man. Logie is the one who's like modding and helping run the server, so thank you, Logie. Lastly, I challenge you. I have a challenge for you. Make somebody laugh today. We all know there's enough hate and vitriol in the world. If energy is contagious like the flu, then let's spread and get everyone contagious with our positive energy, right? Not negative energy, because there's so much of that, and if we could just be a small little change in someone's day, then you never know. Maybe that's the thing that starts shifting this world to a happier, healthier, just better place. And with all of that said and done, thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.